So, good morning students. So, welcome to business studies class. Okay, this is the fifth chapter, emerging mode of business. That means way of conducting a business or way of conducting business activities. Okay, what's the topic for you? So, for today we will discuss the advantages of e-business, then limitations of e-business, then we have online transactions. I mean how to conduct online transaction, that is the topic for you. Okay. So, whatever I teach today, that is already known fact for you. Okay. So, you are expert, some students are, they know very much about internet, online transactions and e-business or the e-commerce. So, still it's we have the topic in our syllabus, I have to do it. Okay, a very interesting topic, very simple one. Okay, let's go for advantages of e-business. So, in the last class we have studied what's the meaning of e-business, there was the meaning of the mode of e-business, meaning of emerging mode of e-business or mode of e-business. Then we studied what's the major difference between e-business and e-commerce, e-business and e-commerce. Then we studied what you call the scope of e-business, the scope of e-business, that we studied so B2B, then we studied B2C, then we studied B2C, then we studied C2B, then C2C, then intra-B is the main thing or scope of e-commerce we studied in our last class. So, B2B, B2B to C, then B2C, then C2B, then C2C and intra-B. This is the thing or the matters we studied in our last class. Then one more thing was that intra-D, intra-B, this is the concept. So, then we studied some features of e-commerce or e-business. This is the thing. In today's class, we will discuss the advantages of e-business. What is the first one? Easy to organize. When you comparing to the traditional business, the organization or setting up of e-business is very much easy. I repeat, as I said in my last class, so we need men, materials, resources, money or the capital. So, we need the things or resources or the inputs for formation of any type of business concept. In addition to that, we need a website for conducting e-commerce or the e-business. One more thing is here, when you come to e-business, there is no need of physical face or the no need of any place or the building for conducting e-business. Just one website is required for successfully running of any e-commerce or any e-business. That is the reason. So, easy to organize, the organization or the establishment or setting up of any type of e-business or the e-commerce is very much easy. It is the first advantages of e-commerce. Then, second one, more economical, it means less expensive. When you compare the e-business or the e-commerce to the traditional business, the expenses or money required for e-commerce is very much less. That is called the what you call more economical, or we need less money. We require very less money. For example, when you come to traditional business, there must be a building or there must be a place. So, that we should incur, we should pay we should buy the the building or the place. So, for buying or for purchase of the building or place, we need plenty of money, we need plenty of capital. But when you come to e-business or e-commerce, there is no need of having such a building or such a place. So, we require very less amount or the very economical things. That is the second advantages. Then, third one, as I said, no geographical barriers. When you comparing to the traditional business, in the e-business or the e-commerce, there is no geographical barriers or no boundaries, because we can purchase the goods from Bombay or the Delhi or Chandigarh or Punjab. So by ordering to the internet or by ordering to the what do you call some e-commerce app, we can buy the goods what we want. So it's all over India. There is no restriction for it. So there is no geographical barriers, no place no boundary for purchase of goods or ordering of goods. So we can sell the goods from the rural area to the urban area, from from Puttur to Bombay. So that's the thing. So there is no geographical barriers for the e-commerce. It's the biggest advantage. Okay, that's the thing. Then next one, government subsidy. Even government it may help for the e-commerce or e-business. So they are supporting the digitization or digitalization. Okay, that's the main thing. That's the reason they are supporting e-commerce. Government, they are supporting the e-commerce or e-business. There's a fourth one. Then fifth one, flexible trading hour, as I said in my last class. So whenever you have the time, whenever you have the free time, so maybe the night or the morning or midnight or evening or the afternoon, so you can order it at any time. That's what you call flexible trading hour, because any e-commerce company or the e-business, they runs in 24/7. That's a schedule for them, because even the system, it may take the orders. Okay, even the computer system, it takes the order. That's the reason they have the 24/7 operations. So is the one more advantage of e-business. First one, easy to organize, then more economical, no geographical barriers, the government subsidy, and flexible trading hour. These are all the advantages of e-commerce or the e-business. I want to tell you one more thing. This is a concept not given in the textbook. Okay, so in addition to the text, we should study more than that. Okay, that's the thing. It is not there in the textbook, but we should know what's the advantage of e-commerce or e-business. Then come to the next concept, limitations of e-commerce. We have a low personal touch, then conflict or incongruence, then competent parties required, then the anonymity and non-traceability, then we have people resistance, then ethical fallout, security issue, and delivery time. So these are all the limitations of e-commerce. The first one, low personal touch. As I said, in the e-commerce there is no need of face-to-face contact between the buyer and seller. So because there is a what you call untraceability or anonymity between so buyer and seller, there is no personal touch. That is the one thing. Even not only in the party, when it comes to product, we can't see directly. There is no personal touch of any product. So some item that looks good in the mobile or in the laptop, but in actually that may be what you call maybe other thing. Okay, that sometimes it looks good in the mobile, but it may be bad in the physical touch. Okay, when you get it really in front of us, it may be the bad thing or the worst product. That is the case. Okay, that's the one limitations, low personal touch. So low personal touch between the parties, as well as there is no touch of product. Okay, we can order it by using laptop or by using mobile. That may sometimes it may looks good in the mobile, maybe wrong or the bad in the physical touch. That is the first limitations of e-commerce. So second one, conflict and incongruence. The conflict between order giving and order taking. Okay, that may be the what you call website fallout or website failure or system failure while giving the orders or while taking the orders. Again, it's the problem or limitations of e-commerce. The conflict between what you call order taking and order giving, it's again major limitations of e-commerce. That's the second one. I repeat, first one, low personal touch. Second one, conflict in order taking and order giving. Then come to next one, we required the competent parties or technological capability. If any company, if they want to go for e-commerce or e-business, then they need a technical capability. They have sound technical background or technical capability. Again, they need a competent parties required. If for example, just look at the point of view from both the parties, from the company as well as from the consumers. Okay, when you come to company, if don't have technical capability or technical capacity, then even if don't have the competent persons, the competent employees to deal with the e-commerce, so then it is the biggest threat or problem of e-commerce. We should have the technical backup, we should have the technical capability, then we should have the competent employees to do the work, then only it runs, then only e-commerce runs. On other hand, for buying of any product, the consumer should know how to use the technology. If they are if they don't know anything about technology or the internet, then what's the how they buy the goods? It's impossible. That's the reason they need competent parties and they need technological capability. That is the third limitations of e-commerce. The competent parties required. They need technical capability or capacity, then they need competent parties. That is the third one. Then fourth one, anonymity and non-traceability. In the e-commerce, we can't trace out the parties. The parties may be the buyer or the seller. It's the biggest challenges. Sometimes the people may order for the goods, then they won't come for buy it. Okay, as the delivery time, it finds very difficult to deliver the goods. So there is one more thing, one more disadvantages or limitations of e-commerce: anonymity and non-traceability. We can't find out, we can't trace them. Maybe the buyers or sellers, there is a chance of incurring loss or the expenses, or the they may find it difficult to trace the people. That's the fourth one. Then the fifth one, that is the people's resistance. Sometimes whenever you come up with the new things, then people they don't want to take it, they don't want to receive it, because whenever you come up with a new technology, then the employees, they feel insecurity. Okay, they feel insecurity. It's the biggest thing. Because of insecurity, then they go for resistance. They don't want to adopt it. There's one more challenge of e-commerce. Whatever thing, maybe the technology or some other new thing, whenever we want to adopt new things, the first limitation is the resistance from the people, resistance from the employees. Okay, because when you come up with the new things, even the employee, they should ready to learn the new things. If they don't want to learn the new things, then automatically they feel they feel insecurity. They are insecure. When they feel insecure, then they don't want to receive it. Then there comes a resistance, because that should be completely avoided. Because anybody or any company, if they want to move on, if they want to grow, if they want to develop or expand their market, then they have to accept the new things, they have to learn the new things, then only they can avoid the the competition. That is the people's resistance. That is the objection from the side of from the people's side or from the employees side. When you come up with a new technology to the company, then they get resistance from the employees. That should be tackled first, that should be resolved first. That is the thing, the people's resistance. Then ethical fallout. What's the ethic here? Ethic is good things. Okay, sometimes some good things not codified in the law, but it's good for society. Okay, there's no law for it. Okay, but we should have that type of courtesy, we should have that type of humanity to what do you call, to do it. Okay, for example, you should help, I mean people should help each other, or you should be honest. Okay, there is no law for it, okay, for being a honest, but it's a good for society. There's something or some activity that's good for society, then we have to practice it, we have to do it. That's what you call ethic, or the here is ethical fallout. When you come to ethic, it's the good norm, it's a good behavior, it's a good thing or good character accepted in the society, accepted by the society. That is not compulsory, it is not codified by the law, but it is good for society. That is the ethic. Okay, ethical fallout. What is ethical fallout? Sometimes, so some company they keep the eye on the employees or on the consumers. There was some, what do you call, hiding or some spy camera in the digital devices or the electronic devices. So there is a danger in the, what do you call, our privacy. There is a danger in our privacy. That's what you call ethical fallout. When they keep eye on our private thing or on the privacy, then that leads to ethical fallout. Then what is the next one? Security issue. Okay, you might have heard about what do you call, hacking the mobiles, hacking the laptops, hacking our email, hacking our Instagram or Facebook. So it's a thing, a security issue. It's a problem or limitations of e-commerce. Then delivery time, as I said, we can order it by in a single tap. Okay, by in a single touch we can order anything, but for the delivery it takes a time, maybe the week or the 2 week. That's the biggest challenges of e-commerce. In the traditional business, okay, you just go for one shop, then they buy it immediately. Okay, that's the, what you call, immediately you can get the product. But in e-business or the e-commerce, so you can order it by sitting in the home, you can order the product, but delivery it takes the time. Then next thing, online transaction. Before going to online transaction, I want to repeat one more time limitations of e-commerce. First one, low personal touch. Second one, conflict or incongruence. Then third one, we require technology capability and competent parties for e-commerce. Then the third one. Then fourth one, anonymity and non-traceability of parties. One more, disadvantages or demerits or limitations of e-commerce. Then people's resistance. Then ethical fallout. Then security issue. Then delivery time. So these are all the demerits of e-commerce or e-business. Okay, move on to next concept of online transactions. How to conduct online transactions or how to buy the goods. For example, how to buy the goods in the JioMart or in the Amazon. So first of all, we should have the registration. Then we have to, if we got registration, then we can place the order. Sometimes even so nowadays by using your mobile number or by using the email ID, so we can have the registration, then place your order. So whatever things you need, then just place the order. Then the payment mechanism. So how to make the payment in the e-commerce? We have the option for it. The first one, the COD, cash on delivery. So when you receive the product, then you can give the money. There is the cash on delivery. Then you can make the payment by using the check. Then you have the net banking. Nowadays the internet banking or the mobile banking or the Paytm or the PhonePe or some Google Pay. Okay, by using that also we can make the payment. Then we have the debit and credit cards. Then we have the digital cash. Okay, digital cash is the nowadays the trending item. Okay, or digital cash is the internet currency. Okay, it's a virtual currency. It is also called virtual currency. You might have been heard about cryptocurrency or the virtual currency or e-cash. This is what we call digital cash. This is the cash available only in the internet, okay, only in the internet. So most of the time the gaming app, so they are using that type of currency, the digital cash. So it's the properties and the value is same as what do you call, so our physical currency, but in digital currency there is no physical appearance, it is in the digital form, okay, but it is not allowed in India. So some countries they are allowing the digital currency or the cryptocurrency, but in India, so the cryptocurrency or digital currency is not allowed, but some gaming companies they are using it for their purpose, that is a digital currency, okay. It's a payment mechanism, maybe cash on delivery, they have the check, we have the net banking, then debit and credit card, then digital cash, okay. This is the things, okay, is the concept of today's class. Just I want to remind you one more time. The first one, advantages of e-commerce, easy to organize, as I said, there is no need of much money for formation of e-commerce company or the e-business. That is the first one, easy to organize. Second one, more economical, it means less cost, okay. The money is also less required for formation of e-commerce or for setting of e-business. Then next we have no geographical area or the barriers. So there is no hurdles when you come to the geographical boundary, okay. We can sell the goods to anywhere, then we can buy it from anywhere, that is the thing, no geographical barriers. Then just to promote digitization, then government they are giving the subsidies, again it is also advantages. Then flexible trading hour, because the 24/7 they are running the e-commerce, so anytime we can order the product, okay, we can order the product. Then when you come to limitations, it is very important things for 4 mark, okay. There is no personal touch, okay, there is no face to face contact of buyer and seller or both the parties, here the buyer and seller. They again when you come product also there is no personal touch. Then second one, the conflict between the order taking and order giving, okay, it's happened sometimes at the time of Deepavali, okay, or some in festival time. So what you call the system failure because of heavy order, it's again problem, that is what you call the conflict on incongruence in the time of order giving and order taking. Then we have the competent parties required when you come to for the successful running of any e-commerce or e-business. We need the technical backup, the technology capability, and again we need the competent parties. From the point of view of the business concern, we need the competent employees for running of e-business. Then we have anonymity and non-traceability. So any person they can give the order, but the time of delivery it's very difficult to trace them, we can't find them. It's what we call anonymity and non-traceability. Here anonymity means what, or the non-traceability means what, we can't find them, we can't trace them, we can't trace it out the people who have given the order. That is the thing, anonymity and non-traceability. Then people resistance, people they don't want to accept it, okay, it's what you call resistance, is objection from the people. That is the what you call fifth one. When you come to the company, the employees resistance to accept the new things, that means they are lacking dynamicism. We should have the dynamicism for accept the new thing. Then we have the ethical fallout when they come up with the spy or the what do you call some secret camera, then they find our privacy or they can leak our privacy. That's the ethical fallout. Then you have the security issue, then there's a chance of hacking. Then delivery time, it means we can give the order in a single second, then it takes much time for delivery. I mean the getting the actual goods. That's the thing. Then we have the online transaction, the how to conduct online transaction. We have the registration by using phone number. Then we should have the what you call password and ID for it. Even we can register with our email ID or by use mobile phone. Then place the order what you want. Then make the payment. So in the payment also we have cash on delivery. Then by using check. Then net banking. Then we have the debit and credit cards and digital cash. What's the digital cash now? It's the currency available only in the internet. It's the there's no physical form of it. It has the all the properties of a physical cash, but there is no physical presence of that cash. For example, we have the cryptocurrency or the virtual currency or the e-cash. Okay, as I said, it's a what do you call currency we are using in the online game. Okay, but there is no legal tender of it in India, but it has their own existence. Okay, that's what you call digital cash. We don't know, the future maybe belongs to digital cash. Okay, but at present, so India, we didn't give any permission for cryptocurrency or digital cash. It is the concept what we have studied in this class. Okay, in next class we will study. So what is the technical issues or technical risk or technical risk of e-commerce. Okay, then we will study what is the outsourcing. Is one more important concept, outsourcing. We will study it in the next class. Okay, go through it, read it again and again. Okay, that's the only the key for getting good score or for success. Okay, only small things, only easy things. If you have any doubt, okay, try to clear it immediately. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the class. See you in the next class.